Well, hello. These are the instructions for how I want you to complete Chapter 4, Section 1 on making a decision. So in Assignment 4.1, we read about 3 ways, or what Brackley calls times, to make a decision. The first time being when you are so moved by God that you can't doubt what the right thing to do is. We won't be using that one for this one, and but then the second time, right here, where you look at you follow your consolations and desolations, and are guided by them to help make a decision. And then the third time is when those consolations and desolations are not clear enough, and so we do one of 2 things to try to force ourselves into being in consolation about our decisions. So what you'll do over here on the assignment is the very first thing you're going to do. We're going to do this focusing on a decision that you are trying to make right now. So my thoughts are, most of you are either trying to decide what college to go to, what major to focus on when you're in that college, or a career path. If you wish to do something else, that's fine. We can work on that. But for this, I would say try to stick with, for this example, we're going to go to college. So the first thing you should be doing right here is to just tell me in your topic sentence, what decision are you trying to make? Are you trying to decide on what college to go to, what major, or what career? And then you will write a few sentences explaining what's the dilemma. Now remember, this is a paper about making a decision. So this should not be a decision that you have already made. So if you already know what college you're going to, then you should look at what major you want to do. Or if you have those 2, what career do you think that major is going to push you to? Then on the second slide, what we're going to do is I want you to pick one of those Ignatian times that you read about in 4.1 and use that to help guide your career. So the very first thing you should tell me in the topic sentence is which of the Ignatian times you want to use to help you make your decision. Now you will see up here I've put time 2, and I've given you a brief summary of it, and I've got time 3, and I've given you a summary of it as well, as the listing of the pros and cons, and then the 3 experiments that you can do if you are going to use time 3. So if you're going to use time 2, tell me what is time 2, and then how do you think why do you think time 2 would be a good thing, a good way of helping you make your decision? Or if you think it should be a time 3, which thing are you going to use? Are you going to do pro cons, or which of the 3 experiments are you going to use to do time 3? So that would be what you would be explaining as you explain what it means to use an Ignatian time. Then moving on to slides 4 and 5, what we will be doing is you will be predicting essentially your choice. So you'll notice right at the top of the box here, I say just your college, major, or career decision. So so this is the thing we're trying to decide. Then we're going to break it down into evidence that we're going to look for that would support the choice. So yes, this is a good college to go to, or a good major to pick, or a good career decision, or evidence that we should not go to that college or make that career choice or follow that major. And just as before, red boxes will get you 13 out of 20 points. Red and yellow boxes will get you 16 out of 20 points. Red, yellow, and green boxes will get you 18 out of 20 points. And if you do all of the colored boxes, you will get 20 out of 20 points. So this one works a little differently because the green is where you explain why this evidence that you're going to try to find fits the time you're going to use. So basically, if you want a 13 out of 20, you will describe one piece of evidence that would tell you you've made the correct, that would support your choice to go to your college, your major, or your career, and one piece of evidence that would help you reject that decision and say, this is not the college, the major, or the career I should be going into. If you want to do the 16 out of 20, you should tell me 3 pieces of evidence that support your choice and 3 pieces of evidence that would help you reject your choice. If you want the 18 out of the 20, then for each of the pieces of evidence that that support your choice and reject your choice, you would explain why they fit your time. So if you're doing time 3, and let's say you're going to pretend that you're giving advice to someone in your situation. So you're doing this first experiment here. So if that's my decision, then in this box I would write, what advice would I give to somebody as they're evaluating that piece of evidence? What advice would I give to somebody as they're evaluating the second piece of evidence? Let's say I'm doing the second one, right? If my last day on earth arrives. So looking at these pieces of evidence, how would I explain how they fit, how I would think about them when I was laying on my deathbed? Or if I did the third one, if I'm standing before Christ, judge of the universe, and I am justifying my life to Christ, how would I have thought about these? How would I process these pieces of evidence? How would I weigh them, essentially? Or let's say you're doing 2. You're looking for the consolations and the desolations. So what do you think this first piece of evidence? What consolations do you think would you be looking for? What consolations in the second? What consolations in the third? What consolations or what desolations would you look at to know that you should reject the choice? And same thing with the other 2. Then if you want the 20 out of 20 in the perfect, you should end this section by judging the likeliness of your choice. So you would probably be thinking about doing something right away. And what I want you to do is having done this exercise, what's the likelihood of you making that college, the choice that you thought you were going to make initially? And then you will then write that up, what you planned out on slide 4, right here in this box in slide 5. And if you just double click, you can see I've already it's first line set up to first line indent tab for you, and you can shrink the text on the overflow if you need to. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any further questions, feel free to see me.